clueless teenagers are waking up and making tens of thousands of dollars on TikTok using faceless TikTok theme pages on the creativity program beta, like the examples that you can see on the screen right now. A lot of this is with the help of AI, which simplifies the process of creating these videos, which are then uploaded onto TikTok. But how exactly do they create these videos? What tools do they use exactly? Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step from start to finish, creating an AI video that you can use on the creativity program beta. I have profiled a bunch of different faceless accounts that are currently making an absolute killing on TikTok using the creativity program beta. So we're going to create that video from scratch. I'm going to link in the description the different AI tools I'm going to use to generate the video. I'm also going to link any AI prompts in the description as well, so you can essentially just copy and paste them. Hopefully by the end of this video you'll have an idea of how to go about creating similar videos going forward. So first of all, we're going to start by doing the research and understanding what video we're going to create and why, and from there we're going to go ahead on to the next stage, which is going to be creating a script. We're going to create a voiceover. From there we're going to move on and gather the materials that we need to put the video together, the b-roll, etc. And then from there I'm going to play for you at the end of the video the result that I have created. Let's jump straight in. Okay, so to start us off, we're gonna start with the research process, and we're gonna have ChatGPT help us to understand first of all what niche we're gonna be going into and creating these videos within. Now, what I've done is asked ChatGPT to help us come up with some faceless niche ideas for videos on TikTok, and the prompt that I have included goes as follows. And again, I'm going to link this in the video description so you guys can copy and paste it. So essentially, I've asked it to give me 50 niche ideas for videos on TikTok where I don't have to use my voice or show my face. These need to be ideas for videos that I can easily create. They need to be evergreen, so family-friendly niches where I will not run out of content ideas. They also need to be niches that can be scaled onto other social media platforms like YouTube and Instagram. These also need to be niches where I can use additional sources of revenue like affiliate marketing or promoting digital products in the long run. So that is essentially what the prompt looks like. Again, that will be linked in the description for you guys to copy, and this will help you just come up with some ideas of what niches you could potentially go into. Now, you could ask for 100, you could ask for 30, you could ask for 70, you could ask for 10, but I've opted for 50 in this example. Now, what you want to do from here, and what I would do, is narrow these down based on A, what's easiest to make, B, what's less likely to be taken down for things like copyright, for example, and C, just based on me previously browsing TikTok and looking at the faceless pages that are working on there, straight away I know some of these are never going to work for me. For example, I know that recipe showcases, that's not going to work for me. I know that DIY crafts is not going to work for me. Book recommendations, not necessarily going to work for me. Gardening tips, etc. I do know, however, what I really like and what I've come across before is faceless videos on things like educational fun facts, which I know definitely work on TikTok, and there's a huge market of people that are interested in these types of videos. Daily motivational quotes, yeah, definitely something that could potentially work. Timelines, lapse gardening, if you've got access to a garden, or if you're someone that does gardening, etc., and so forth. So what you want to do is just narrow this down as much as possible to videos that you can create. Now, in terms of narrowing it down, what I would do is copy this list, put it onto a spreadsheet, go directly into TikTok, type in these different niches, see what videos come up and see what the demand is for those types of videos, and also think about whether you're able to create these videos, whether you're able to get the footage and the resources that are needed to create these types of videos. Again, leaning back onto niches like positive affirmations, educational facts, and those types of niches, they are easy enough to create. I don't need to worry about copyright and things like that because of the types of videos that are created in those spaces. In fact, the one that I'm going to use for this example is educational facts. Essentially, that is the research process. ChatGPT will help come up with some ideas. You're going to filter them down using TikTok. You're going to note them down using a pen and pad or spreadsheet, and once you've narrowed it down, to a niche that you want to jump onto, then you can move on to the next stage, which is creating a script for that niche. In between researching and jumping onto the script, obviously you also want to watch videos within the niche that you've selected. You also want to make sure that these are videos that you can create, not choosing something where it's going to take you a week, for example, to create a video. You are able to create the videos, you are able to compete. You've got the hashtags that you're going to be putting in your videos noted down. You've got a general idea of the video titles that you're going to be using as well. You've noted them down somewhere, ready to copy and paste onto TikTok once this video is ready to. What we're doing at this stage, now that we know we're going to be focusing on educational facts, what I've done is asked ChatGPT to come up with 30 different facts about the human brain, which I can then use as a script on TikTok. So the prompt was very simple. I've asked it to please generate 30 random interesting facts about the human brain, and ChatGPT has gone and done exactly that. Again, remember, these are evergreen in the sense that these will be the same as they were 10 years ago, as they were 20 years ago, as they will be 20 years from now. That is the beauty of the facts niche. Facts will stay the same unless science discovers something new that contradicts what you can see here, which does not happen very often. Now, what I've then gone and done is, again, I've asked ChatGPT to remove the numbers from these. So I don't want to have 5, 6, 7, 8, because when the voiceover is reading that script, it's going to be saying, number 1, the human brain weighs about 3 pounds. Number 2, there are approximately 86 billion neurons. Number 3, I don't want it to say the numbers. I just wanted to say the facts, one fact after another. So I've gone in there and asked it to turn it into paragraphs and remove the numbers, which ChatGPT has gone ahead and done. And this is what the result looks like. Now, power tip that you want to pay attention to here, because we're talking about the creativity program beta on TikTok here, you want the script to be just long enough to take you over a minute, so you hit that 1 minute threshold. And I didn't do that here, but later on I came back and asked ChatGPT how many characters and words are needed to create a 1 minute long narrated video. So what I should have done is included this when I asked it to create these facts. So I should have just asked it to create something that is no longer than 160 characters, but there you go, lesson learned. Now ChatGPT's let me know how many characters are needed, which is fine, therefore I will keep that in mind going forward. Otherwise I've got a really long video script here. But there you go, you've got a video script here. You can just copy this, paste it onto a notepad, add a few bits that you'd like to add to customize it. For example, you can add call to actions like don't forget to like, don't forget to follow, don't forget to share the video, whatever works within that niche. For example, within the educational space, educational facts space, a lot of them will say one fact first. So for example, the human brain weighs about 3 pounds, which is 1.4 kilograms on average. And then after that, they'll say, you will find a person who has a bigger brain than you if you click, share, WhatsApp, and whatever. That's a call to action that they've included in the video. So you want to include clever little call to actions like that within your script as well. And this is something that's actually being done on TikTok currently on the videos that are working. You don't want to include more than one call to action per video, per script. So one should be more than enough. So now that we've got our script, we're going to move on to creating a voiceover. So to create the voiceover, I have used the famous 11 Labs because they have got arguably the best voiceovers that you can get when it comes to AI generated voices on the internet currently. 80% of the videos that you've watched that are AI generated most likely use voiceovers from 11 Labs, whether that's in the back end via the API or whether that's in the front end, which is what I've done here. Now, this is where it's important to come up with those 160 characters, because as you can see, the mistake that I made here was this script was way too long. It generated a video that's just over 2 minutes long. I don't want that. I want the video to be just over a minute long, but never mind, that's not the point here. So what I do when I'm in 11 Labs, I don't change any settings. Adam is the most famous one, the one that you've probably heard the most. This is what it sounds like. as you can hear, that'll be sounding familiar. But there's lots of other options that you can use, and there's a lot of other options that you've probably heard in other people's videos that you didn't realize were coming from 11 Labs. So these are other examples here. But for this example, for the sake of time, we're just going to stick with Adam. We're not going to mess with any of the voice settings, so I've left them as default voice settings. And again, I've not changed anything here. I've just left it as multilingual version 2. All that's left to do with that being said is click generate and generate the voiceover, which again, I have already done, as you can see by the timeline at the bottom of this video here. Once you've done that, all you do is click on download, which is this icon here next to the time, and once you've done that, you can copy the downloaded file and put that onto your video editor ready for your content to be added. Now that we've done that, the next thing we're going to jump onto doing is gathering the materials that are needed in order to create the video. Now for this, I've used 11 Labs, and the reason why I've done that, I know that a lot of interesting facts videos on TikTok use a lot of oddly satisfying videos in the background. For example, as the voiceover is talking, there'll be just a lot happening in the background, and a lot of the time these are videos that have nothing to do with the actual script, which makes it nice and easy to get the materials that are needed. Now, you don't just have to use Faceless, you can also use YouTube, you can use Reddit, you can use Facebook, anywhere where you can find non-copyrighted B-roll videos that you can include in the background of your videos. So in my case, I've used Faceless, which again I will have linked in the description. Now, quickly jumping onto the videos that I've gathered from Faceless, and this also interlinks into the next section, which is editing the video. If I go into CapCut over here, these are the different videos that I have gathered from Faceless and a number of various other sources. Now, I'm going to talk you through exactly what it is that I've done here, so don't be discouraged when you look at it. It's actually very, very simple. So what I have done is taken the different videos that I've downloaded from Faceless and other sources. If you go on media, you can see them all here. And what I've done is I've chopped those videos up. So I've put in each video, I've chopped it up, added some movement, chopped it up to, like, for example, if I show you this one here with the snail, that will perhaps make a bit more sense. So I've chopped it up to 3 different sections just to add some movements. This is about 2 seconds long overall. So the first bit is just normal. The second bit is zoomed in. The third bit is just normal. Again, I've sped up the videos as well, just to again add that dynamic feel rather than just the normal time movement. And I've essentially done that on all these different videos that I've downloaded from different areas on the internet. Just add a bit of movement, make it interesting. I've also added some noise as an effect. In fact, I've added 2 tracks of noise here just by going on to effects and searching for retro noise to again add a retro dirty feel to the video. And then that's pretty much it, to be honest. You can play around, you can add different transitions, you can zoom in, zoom out, speed things up. You don't have to make it that complicated, but that is literally all I have done here. And what I've got at the bottom there, as you can see, is that voiceover that I've just created from 11 Labs there. So if I go to the beginning of the video and play, you'll see what this looks like.
The human brain weighs about 3 pounds, 1.4 kilograms on average. Approximately 86 billion neurons make up the human brain, comprising about 75% water. The brain, despite constituting a...
So that is what it more or less looks and sounds like. Now, don't worry if you couldn't hear it at this point. I'm going to play the full video at the end of this video so you can see and hear it there. But that's essentially all I've done there. In terms of the text, the auto captions, all you do is go into the captions section and CapCut will create those auto captions for you. Now, these don't look like the normal bouncy dynamic 1 word at a time type of captions. They're also very easy to create, but for this example, I've just used the free version of CapCut, and it doesn't have the feature where it automatically creates the one-word captions in the middle of the screen, but they're relatively easy to create. All you do is just go onto captions when you have got a paid version of CapCut and select that particular style that you want to go into, or any other style that you are wanting to use for your video. In this case, I've just added this basic style just to kind of show you guys where the captions would sit within that video, so you've got an idea of what that looks like. And essentially that's it. You've got your video, you've got your captions. The video is, for this example, it's 2 minutes 50 seconds long, because again, referring back to what I mentioned about looking after the characters and making sure you've got just the right amount of characters. So it was slightly too long because it wasn't 160, but again, not a big issue. All you need to do is just reduce it to just over a minute long. Now, as a bonus tip, I would also go into Canva and add a logo and brand your video. And all you do is just come in here, choose a logo that works, that's not got copyright on it, customize it. And again, that may be another video on its own that I may need to create in future. And what I would do is then overlay that onto this video so people don't just go in and steal your video. So it's got your logo on it somewhere. In terms of this editing as well, if you want me to create it as a separate tutorial, let me know in the comments, and I'm more than happy to jump in and create a separate standalone video for that. But yeah, I am now going to play you the finished result. Let me know what you guys think, and if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll be more than happy to do a follow-up video doing a different style of faceless TikTok automation style video.
The human brain weighs about 3 pounds, 1.4 kilograms on average. Approximately 86 billion neurons make up the human brain, comprising about 75% water.
One of the most famous haunted houses in America is the Winchester Mystery House, located in San Jose, California. It is renowned for its mysterious history and countless ghostly legends. The Winchester Mystery House was once the residence of Sarah Winchester.
The accounts that you can see on your screen are raking in a ton of cash, earning tens of thousands of dollars per month on TikTok simply by telling Reddit horror stories. They're using a simple, easy to follow method using only AI, where they create engaging videos that lead to a high amount of watch time, lots of followers, and of course being rewarded by TikTok via the TikTok creativity program beta. They don't use their faces, they don't use their voices. I'm going to show you a step-by-step formula that you can follow along in order to create your own similar style videos so you can get in on the action. Let's jump straight in. By the way, if you want to follow along, the links to the tools I will be using will be in the video description. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to want to do is find the Reddit story that we're going to be narrating. Now, what you want to be careful of here is you want to make sure that this is a story where you're not going to get caught on copyright issues later down the line. What I've done here is I've found a Reddit page here with non-copyright horror stories. Now, this is called royalty-free horror stories, and as you can see on the top right hand corner, the people that are submitting the stories here, by them submitting the stories, they are granting permission to people to narrate these stories in their videos. They're granting Creative Commons licenses. You can essentially take these and narrate them. What you then do is go through this page and find stories or a story that you feel is going to fit in with what you're trying to narrate and create on TikTok. As you can see, there's a bunch of different stories on here. There's 3,800 members, so lots and lots of options that you can choose from. What you can then do once you've gotten the story from here, you have to remember guys, these are not necessarily established authors. The people that are uploading their stories here may have grammar mistakes, these may not be fully edited. These are just people like you and me that have just got stories to tell. What you can then do is, once you've found a story that works with you, you want to make sure that obviously you look out for things like excessive language, extreme violence and stuff like that, because you want to make sure that your stories on TikTok don't break any of the community guidelines or whatever it is that you are telling these stories. So once you've copied the story, what I would then do is put it onto a notepad or put it onto a Google Word sheet, and just go through the story, just edit it, and just make sure that there's nothing on here that goes against community guidelines, and just that the story fits in with your vision of what you're trying to get narrated in your video. Remove any bits that you want to remove, keep what you want to keep, as long as the core of the story is still there. Change some of the words to be a bit lighter, to be a bit maybe family friendly, whatever you want to do. But the point is, you don't just take a story here and upload it straight onto TikTok. You have to clean it up first and make sure that it is suitable. I've got my story, I've already done some cleaning up here. I've already added a hook as well that I'm going to put as the title of the video. Something else that you want to add as well, that those very first few lines that are going to hook people to watch the video. Make sure you've got a really good hook that you can put in there. Easy ways to find a video hook: you can ask ChatGPT to generate you some hook examples. Alternatively, you can go on TikTok, watch other videos within your niche, and pay attention to how they start the beginning of the videos, especially with the really successful videos, and you can use similar hooks in your videos as well. Now that we've cleaned up the script or the story that we found on Reddit, the next thing is to find free background videos. Now, what I mean by this is you will notice that on TikTok, a lot of these Reddit horror story videos will have some kind of background, some kind of video playing in the background. A lot of the time it's Minecraft gameplay, GTA gameplay, something in the background to keep the person hooked and interested while they're also listening to the story. It's not just a blank black background where nothing is happening. So it's just to add some extra moving visuals to keep the person interested. Now, in order to find non-copyright video gameplay, I've gone onto YouTube, and you can do exactly the same. As you can see, I've searched on there no copyright GTA 6 gameplay, and there's a video straight away here that you can see that's got some GTA 6 gameplay, and it already says on the thumbnail no copyright, free to use. Now, you don't have to search for GTA 6, you can search for Minecraft, you can search for any other games that have got visuals that are moving fast enough to keep people engaged. You can also just mirror some of the videos that are on TikTok and use similar games to what the successful videos are using. You can see there's just plenty of these no copyright, free to use gameplay style videos that you can grab here and use in your videos. But for my example, I have used the GTA 6, this one here, and I've grabbed a clip from here that I'm going to use in my videos. And what I've done is chuck that into CapCut, and that clip is here. Now, we've got our Reddit story that we're going to tell. We've cleaned up the story. We have got the background video that we're going to use for the story. Now, the next thing that I want to also add, you don't necessarily have to do this, but you want to make sure that you hook people in to watch the video. And a lot of these videos that I've noticed have got text style titles that look like it's a mobile text. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be this format. I've gone into Canva, by the way, to get this. Again, all the links will be in the description, or you can use a similar tool, but the easiest one for me is Canva. As you can see, there's different text formats that you can use here, different templates that Canva provides to make it look like a tweet, to make it look like a text, just to make it look less formal and more casual and hook people in. Essentially, it looks like this is someone that's texting another person saying, I had this horrible experience and I'll never forget what actually happened to me, which then leads the viewer to think, what actually happened to this person? They click on the video and they start listening, and you captivate them with the scary story from there. So what you want to do is overlay these videos, and in order to overlay my video, I have grabbed a template here on CapCut. It was already in this text format. It already had messages, it had the icon, it had the now on there. All I did was just change the title to Billy, and I changed the hook or the title of the text to reflect the same hook that I created and put onto my Google Word document. And what I can then do to download it so it can be overlaid onto the video, and I'm going to show you what the finished example looks like at the end of the video. I have deleted the background, so there's a background here that I removed, and I have then gone on to share, download, and I've clicked on transparent background, and I've downloaded it as a transparent background from there. So I've got my three ingredients there, the story is there, we've got the background video with gameplay, and now we've got the unique overlay title as well. The next part that we need is the narrated video script, for which we're going to use 11 Labs. Now, what I've done is taken the script that I've edited and put onto the notepad, and I've copied that into 11 Labs, and this is where the AI voice is going to come from. Now, I've not tweaked too many settings on here. Again, voice settings, I've left those the same. Now, I've chosen the Callum voice. It's not a voice that I've particularly used before, but I didn't want to use Adam because that's the one that a lot of people used. I wanted to try a different one today, which again you will hear once I play you the final result of the video. Now, another thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning that you need to pay attention to, your story that you find, ideally you want it to be around 200 words. So the reason for this, when you get to around 180, 200 words, that's where your narration will hit the 1 minute. It's just around the right mark to reach over a minute. So you can qualify for the creativity program beta, but equally, you're not driving people away rather because they can see that your video is too long. For mine, I've made sure that it is the right amount of words to just go over a minute. As you can see at the timeline at the bottom there, we're at 1 minute, 1 second, which is really, really lucky. Is the voiceover. Now, you might not be able to hear it straight away. If you don't, again, don't worry, you will hear it when I play the result a bit later on, but this is what it sounds like currently.
On the couch eating some candy, when suddenly my body went numb and I couldn't move.
There we go. I've already generated the voiceover. I've downloaded it by clicking the download icon at the bottom there, and I've grabbed the download and I've chucked that into CapCut again, which is where everything is going to be coming together. In terms of editing the video, guys, this is one of the easiest video styles to edit. All I've done is I've chucked the GTA video gameplay there, and I've blurred it a bit so that the overlay text on the front comes out as the video is playing, so that it's not, you haven't got an extremely sharp background, as well as the title. You don't want the person's eyes to struggle to decide what to focus on, essentially. So what they're going to be focusing on is the captions that they're going to be watching on the screen, and in the background they can still see some movement. It's slightly blurred, but it is still there for them to see. In order to do that, I've just gone into effects, I've clicked on the video, gone into effects, and blur is there. And what I've done is I have just reduced the blur so it's not overly blurred, but at the same time it's not too sharp. You can play around with that and just find a happy medium, whatever you're happy with, as long as they can see that it's GTA 6 video gameplay in the background, you'll be absolutely fine. What I've also done is added again the 11 Labs voiceover down there. I've also added a song as well on here, a creepy song that will play in the background while the story is being narrated. And this song I found by, again, going onto CapCut, which is essentially the same music that's going to be on TikTok. I've gone into audio and I've searched for horror music. For this example, I've gone for the fourth one down, horror song with an airy music box melody. And this is what it sounds like, including the narration. Again, you might not be able to hear that clearly, but don't worry, you will hear it clearly when I play the actual video. That is the final result. Now, as it just so happens, this is the free version of CapCut. The next part to this is to add the overlay, and I am going to grab that and edit here so you can see as well. So I've already got the overlay at the beginning of the video, as you can see there. So watch what happens. It's going to play, the overlay is going to be on there just while the voiceover is saying the hook, and then it's going to disappear and leave space for the auto captions that I'm going to put a little bit later on. So there's the overlay. There we go. So the overlay goes in and goes out, and again, this is that same overlay that we created here on Canva, and it's just a good way to brand your videos as well. With that all done, the next part now is just to add the auto captions. Now, this is actually a free version of CapCut, and the captions that get added on here are absolute rubbish. So what I've done is I happen to have the paid version on my mobile. I've exported this, put it onto my mobile in CapCut, added the auto caption on there. Hey everyone, Future Victor here. I wanted to add this while I was editing the video. For those of you worried about paying for CapCut, the captions that I added to the final result are actually available on the free version of CapCut. For some reason, the desktop version, I can never get it to give me the type of auto captions that I'm looking for. So don't worry about having to pay for CapCut. Very simple. All you do is the same on desktop as on mobile. You just go into captions and you just choose auto captions and you just select the option that's one word at a time. But one word at a time tends to keep people's attention for longer. And now what I'm going to do with all that being said is play you the final result of the video. Remember, there's many different ways to skin a cat. This is not the universal way of doing these videos, but these are just the basics. These are the fundamentals. You can use this to tell other story types as well. It doesn't have to be horror, whatever niche you're into.
What happened to me that Halloween still haunts me. This story happened back in 2017. I was trick-or-treating when my legs started to hurt like hell. Thankfully, my house was nearby, so I walked home. My dad checked on me and said that he was going to be at the house across the lawn. I said okay, and my dad left. I was lying on the couch eating some candy when suddenly my body went numb and I couldn't move. My vision got wired. The best way to put it is big black snowflakes. I tried to scream, but nothing came out. I was suddenly able to move my head and looked into the other room, where I saw a tall figure walking very slowly, but then it all ended and I was able to move again. I told my mom about it along with a few friends. If any of you have any good explanations for why this happened, please tell me. Some people have said it was demons, others witchcraft, but I'm still in the dark about what happened exactly. Maybe one day it will all make sense. But until then...
Small accounts such as the ones you can see on your screen right now are driving millions of views and generating tens of thousands of dollars on social media because they know this one secret which allows them to bulk generate lots of videos in minutes. We're talking 500 to 1,000 videos in around 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step tutorial which will show you how to create the same types of videos so you can also cash in on this opportunity using free tools which will be linked in the description. But warning, you do need to watch from the beginning all the way up until the end. These steps are interconnected, so if you don't watch all of them in the right sequence, you'll find yourself getting to the end but not getting the same result. If you want to follow along, grab a notepad, rewatch this video, pause it, make notes. But I'm not here to waste your time, so let's jump straight in the video and let's get started. Go on to ChatGPT. I've put a link in the description, but copy the prompt that I've put in the video description. And as you can see, they have listed the different topics and the different facts. Now, I've asked for 50 here. Sometimes ChatGPT will not do the whole 50. Sometimes it will do less. All you'll need to do is just ask for it to create more of these if you find that it's not the full amount that you want to get out of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be these particular topics as well. You can find any topics that are of interest to you as long as they're evergreen topics that people are going to find interesting. All we need to do now is generate the actual videos and then we'll jump into bulk generating them after. Select a blank YouTube short template. So you'll need to type in YouTube short template in Canva. Select the blank option and from there you should come onto a screen like this. From there, what you want to do is go into apps on the left and you want to go into the videos option, and from there you want to find a nice calming video that is going to act as a background video for you. It's not going to be distracting and people are still going to be able to read the text that's on the screen but still have some sort of movement in the background. Now the one that I'm going to select is this one here. And what I want to do is make sure that it fills the entire YouTube short frame, which it has here. The next thing I want to do is go to the bottom and reduce it to about 6 seconds. We've now got the background, and you also want to make sure as well that there's no sound coming from this background. Sometimes you might want there to be a AI voice reading the text and stuff like that. Now there's a volume icon at the top. For mine, there's no sound, hence why the volume icon is grayed out. Now some of those videos will have a crown icon. It just means that they're only available on the paid option on Canva. All you need to do is just go for the free trial on Canva. You can cancel it anytime and you'll be able to select those options, but some of them, as you can see, don't have the crown, meaning that they are available in the free version of Canva. Now the next thing you want to do is add text. So this is where the text is going to be. I'm going to select heading and I'm going to title that topic. You'll see why I'm doing that in just a little while. And then I'm gonna move that to the top because I want the topic of my videos to be at the top. Maybe reduce the size, something like that. Again, you can play around this, find a size that you're happy with. In terms of the font as well, you can just find a font that you're happy with. In my case, I was happy with Anton, so I selected that one. And if you go into effects and you select background, you want the text itself to be white and you want the background to be black. So if I go back into effects, select the background option, and there we go. Now from there, you want to copy the topic, and this is where now we're going to have our part 1. So somewhere in the middle at the top there. So you can kind of see now how this ties back into ChatGPT. Topic, part 1, part 2, topic, and then we go part 1. There we go. But for this one, because this is going to be the body of the content, the text, we don't want this to have a black background. So what I'm going to do is go into effects again, and this time I'm going to remove the background. Instead, I'm going to change it to outline, and I want my outline to be black. You're going to see what the outline is in just a second for those of you not too clear. And if I want my thickness to be pretty significant as well, so I'm going to change that to about 120. There you go. We've now got the text, it's got the outline. Maybe it's a little bit too thick. Go back, change it to reduce it to maybe 100. There we go. So that's our part 1 text. Maybe reduce the font. I don't want it to be too big. Got our part 1 there. And what I'm going to do is copy that, click on it, duplicate it, and then the one just below it is going to be part 2. Now the next thing I'm going to want to do is just drag these areas here so they are as wide as the purple frame. And this is again because some of the text might be quite, not too long, but it might fill the entire sort of width of this video frame here. So you want to make sure that you've expanded this, whereas with the topics, they tend to be quite short. So it's okay if that's not as wide at the top. Next thing that we're going to want to do is make sure that the part 1 text and the part 2 appear on different timelines. Now, what I mean by this, if for example, part 1 of the text is, did you know that smiling instantly boosts your mood? I don't want the next part to show while this is still showing. I want that to stop, disappear, and then the next part to kick in. So the way that I'm going to do that is go onto here, and I'm going to right click and go show timing. There we go. That's part 1. The whole video is 6 seconds long. So I'm going to reduce that to be maybe 4.5 seconds. And then part 2, same thing again, hide timing and then show timing again. This time is for part 2. And I'm going to reduce that to 1.5 seconds. And part 1 finishes, part 2 kicks in. And the reason why they're not equal is to encourage people to rewatch the video, because they're going to want to try and see part 2 again, because it's just going to flash on and it's going to go back off. So that's the reason why it's not as long as part 1. So part 1 is going to stay on the screen. They're going to wait for part 2. It's going to kick in and then it's going to disappear. Now, what I'm going to do first is go into apps. I'm going to go into bulk create. If we go into ChatGPT, what I'm going to do is copy from topic all the way down up until the end of the table there. I'm going to go back into Canva and I'm going to go into enter data manually, and I'm going to click on T and I'm going to paste. And as you can see, all the information that we had from ChatGPT has now been pasted onto this database. Now, when I right click on topic, connect data, there we go. Now from there, what I'm going to do, because I want to connect the topic to the topic section of the database I've just put in, I'm going to click on topic. And as you can see there, it's now got these parentheses because it's connected to the database. I'm going to do the same thing for part 2. And just connect it to the, part 1, and just connect that to the part 1 section of the database. Again, parentheses. And then part 2, connect that to the part 2 of the database. And now, very importantly, what you're going to want to do is place part 2 exactly on top of part 1. And the reason why we're doing this is so that when part 1 finishes, 2 immediately kicks in. You want this to be as seamless as possible. And from there, you just want to click on continue on the bottom left, then it's going to say create 41 designs. Now if it was 50, it would say generate 50. If it was 100, it would say generate 100. If it was 500, it would say generate 500. If it was 1,000, it would say generate 1,000. But I would say it as a starting point, start low at around 50, generate those, and within a couple of minutes you can go back in, repeat the same process. It's taking me longer obviously because I'm explaining it to you right now, but if you're doing it yourself, once you've gotten used to it, it's going to take you much quicker, and within a couple of minutes time you will have generated easily 5, in some cases even up to 1,000 videos that you can then schedule to upload on different social media platforms. So I'm going to click generate, and there we go. Canva has now generated the different videos, and if I go back, play that, there we go. Part 2 kicks in, same thing. Part 1, part 2 kicks in, it's going to be a different effect again. Part 2 kicks in, same effect again. Boom, done. And I've got 41 videos here. Now what I need to do in order to get them out of Canva is click share, select download, make sure you select download pages as separate files, and then from there they're going to come out as separate videos. If you then just like that, you've got 41 videos that you can now bulk upload, maybe save them onto a tool that will allow you to schedule them automatically onto your different platforms. And again, I know some platforms don't monetize videos that are shorter than a minute, but the benefits of this are you've got a ton of content that you can upload, you've got an opportunity to drive a massive amount of traffic, you can easily build a TikTok account to 10k followers, and you can then switch on to 1 minute plus videos once you've grown your TikTok account to the point where it qualifies for the creativity program beta. That's pretty much it. That is how you create 500, even up to 1,000 videos in a couple of minutes that are monetizable and that you can upload onto different social media platforms.